All right, you know what? I'm done. I'm done trying to have a filter on YouTube. I'm done trying to see both sides of arguments. I'm done with that. Just to let you know, there's not going to be any Highguard footage in this video. There's going to be Valorant footage in the background because I've not played Highguard. If you feel like that makes my opinions invalid, go ahead and leave now. So yeah, I actually wasn't going to make this video because everyone's basically said every point that I could possibly have ever said. But I wanted to add my 2 cents on it because I'm absolutely fucking fed up with gaming journalists. And just like the whole toxic positivity or even blind negativity at times. Now, of course, you all have already seen the entire situation with Highguard being basically the most lukewarm-ass game. If lukewarm was a game, it would be fucking Highguard. And you've seen both ends of the spectrum. It's not a 1 out of 10 game. Those games literally cannot run. You can't boot it up. And they have bugs to literally prevent you from playing the game at all. That is a 1 out of 10 game. So Highguard is not that. So people who say that, they are obviously just blindly hating on the game. But also, people who are just completely toxic positive about the game, acting like it's like Geoff says, it's a new breed of shooters. You fucking moron. I've seen this game. I've seen probably more footage of this game than I've seen of, I don't know, Overwatch and the Marvel Rivals, just because of the controversy surrounding it. And it looks like the most generic, bland shooter live service game I've ever seen in my entire life. Yes, it's being touted as the new breed of shooter. So because of that, it's been thrust into the spotlight. And with this attention-based economy, everyone has their eyes on it. Everyone is giving attention to this game and not giving attention to games that really deserve it. Like, such as Dispatch from late last year. One of the best narrative games I probably have played in the last decade. Doesn't get talked about nearly enough at all. It gets talked about in small circles with people who've played older Telltale games, but outside of that, it doesn't really get enough attention. And we're talking about bullshit like Highguard, which again, if it wasn't even shown at the Game Awards in the spot it was, no one would be talking about this dumb shit. No one would be talking about how, oh, it's actually better than people say it is. We need to give the game a chance because it deserves a chance. It doesn't deserve shit. It doesn't deserve shit at all. The only thing it deserves is for people who actually think it looks so much interesting, for them to give it a chance, and if they find it compelling in some way, then they can relay that to other people. They can maybe get their friends to play with them on the weekend, and word of mouth can spread that way. And one of my biggest annoyances when a game is this big and it's this controversial is that people on both ends, they will either ignore any sort of positive aspects of the game. Like, the game genuinely, it just looks, I guess, okay. You can say that's positive or negative depending on who you are. I just think it just sits somewhere in the middle of the road. It looks alright, I guess. I know that they have forced motion blur and like forced anti-aliasing. That's not great. That is awful. The performance and the optimization we've seen is actually not that great for this game, so that's actually a negative. But the shooting mechanics look alright. Again, if something is okay or alright, it's just okay or alright. That doesn't make it ass. That doesn't make it garbage. It's just alright. But people will say, oh, that's horrible. But then you go to like the optimization and the anti-aliasing force, and just the generally like uninteresting nature of the game mode, and people will say, oh no, you need to play like 12 hours or something to really get the game mechanics down and to understand the game mode, and then at that point, then you can criticize it. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You being positive and defending the game from harsh criticism is not going to make the game better. It's not going to make the game any more enjoyable. The same as people just blindly hating on things that are just like okay and just making it seem like it's the worst implemented system in the game. It's not helping either. I'm absolutely fed up with it. It's so annoying when a game can just be from 4 out of 10 to 6 out of 10. The game can be sitting in that range. And both sides of people will make their arguments as why it's the worst thing, like it's the worst game of all time. Or there's people who just want to defend it for no fucking reason at all and act like it's the second coming of Christ. Like, oh my God, yes, I've been having so much fun in this game. It's one of the best multiplayer games I've played in the last decade. You are, I want to say the word, but I can't say it. You're not a bright individual if you think this is one of the best multiplayer games or shooter games to come out in the last 15 years. You're just not. Either that or you've been playing mobile games all your life. And don't even get me started with all the journalists circle jerking each other, jerking off each other, all these little journalist soy boys. You go to their profile picture and they look like the most soy boy of all time. You have these people telling you you're wrong, or the internet's in your ear. If you're gonna have the internet in your ear, then that's actually a pretty fun game. It's not a fun game. You're talking bullshit because you want them clicks. This negative or this harsh pushback headline is going to draw eyes to your article, and then you get into the article and there's nothing like glaringly positive about it. It's just like, oh yeah, this is an all right kind of game. So why is your headline full of bullshit? Explain that to me. Those kind of headlines do have an effect or impact on how people will view the game. Unfortunate as it is, people will read those headlines alone. They won't go into the article. They'll just read those headlines, and then they'll base their opinions on the game off those headlines, good or bad. The Game Awards is a cancer on the industry, straight up. Like, what once started as a way to celebrate games has now turned into just sort of like musical celebrity cringe little jerk off segments, with half of the showcase being for trailers and awards, but also half of that being allocated to complete like live service bloated slop, like in this case. And it's usually amplified so that Geoff Keighley can stay in the good graces of these corporations. I know that's what it is. I'm not stupid. You see with something like with the whole wrap it up situation, where teams winning actual awards for actual good video games are just rushed off stage. You know what? It's Geoff's show. He can promote and advertise whatever the fuck he wants to, but it doesn't make him free from criticism. And I feel like just mostly the Game Awards is a complete joke and doesn't actually showcase anything of what makes the game industry good. In fact, it just pretty much promotes what makes the game industry bad. Like games like Highguard, games like Mind's Eye from last year, these absolutely catastrophic games, they just receive all the attention in the world. They're just unoptimized, they're buggy, they're just not very good video games, even if they were optimized and they were performing well. And we give these games all the attention in the world, while all these other good games out there don't give nearly as much attention, because guess what? They don't receive as many views as something like a Dumpster Fire does. That's just the fact of it. And I'm going to go on the other end just to show how much this actually affects the game industry. And I'm going to talk about Expedition 33. And trust me, this is not going to be me trashing on the game at all in any way. This is just to use as a different example on the opposite end of the spectrum, because that game was such a good, unique, beautifully shown, and just like well put together game from last year. And the overwhelming positive reception it got, because that was such a massive like triumphant moment of like this small team of, again, with these big headlines of ex Ubisoft devs, which it wasn't ex Ubisoft devs, it was like a couple, like 3 or 4 of them. That makes headlines, right? And that makes like a big triumphant moment where everyone can sort of rally behind this small studio at Sandfall for making an incredible experience. And people who are critical on it in some aspects are just absolutely like shit on as, oh, you're just a hater, oh, you just want to see everything fail, you're just a doomer and stuff like that. Even though that's not the case, but if you're in any way critical on Expedition 33, which I actually love myself, but if you are critical, and I've seen critical videos that bring up a couple of good points, right? No game is perfect. You got to remember that. No game at all is perfect. Even my favorite games of all time. And I've seen comments say like, I don't know why, but like the way you're saying this in a respectful manner in your criticisms, but it just boils my blood. That might just be my bias. I'm like, dude, this doesn't help gaming discourse. Like your blood being boiled by someone bringing up legitimate criticisms, even of your favorite game, doesn't fucking help gaming discourse. That's the toxic positivity I'm talking about. The people like that want to see all games succeed. They want to see every game be better in a better version of itself. But when you doing shit like that and just defending your favorite game of all time and every aspect of it is just the most perfect thing of all time, and it's just like, it's God's serum, it's not going to help anything. It's not. You need to stop doing that shit. Everyone online who does that, whether it's something you just like blindly hate and everything about the game is terrible, there's not one good aspect about it. There's not one thing you could say that's good about it. Or people who are like, oh, this is my favorite game of all time, and there's not a single flaw with it. You need to learn how to take things like into perspective, or you need to learn the definition of nuance, because there is nuance to be had in every single discussion. Whether it's like, oh, Baldur's Gate 3 is the best game of all time, Expedition 33 is the best game of all time, Mind's Eye is the worst game of all time. There is nuance to be had in those discussions that are just different than the consensus of everyone else who agrees that this game is really good, really bad, really unoptimized, whatever it is. And because of how the gaming industry has been trending for the last, 7 to 10 years, if you're not with the consensus, you're like vehemently against them. And I can't stand that. And I hope this is the last time we have to talk about Highguard. Straight up. I hope in like 2 weeks, everyone's just done playing Highguard. No one wants to talk about it anymore. And then in like 6 months to a year, you get this one big video of how, oh, Highguard's failure and what happened along the Highguard's failure development and stuff like that. That dumb shit I see online. Hopefully, for the most part, in the next couple of weeks, we're done with this. It's the most mid game of all time. I'll bring up an example. I think it's FBC Firebreak, another live service shooter game. that may as well be the exact same as Highguard, just the most 4 or 5 or 6 out of 10 video game of all time. But guess what? It didn't have Geoff Keighley promoting it to hell and back, so it got no reception. No one talks about that game, even though it's just as good or bad depending on where you sit on the fence as Highguard. But no one talked about that game. There's so many 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 games that release every year that no one hears about. There's so many 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 games that release every year, again, that no one hears about. I kind of made a video like this before explaining what I can't stand about a lot of these crybaby gamers who just sit on either the extremely positive or the extremely toxic side, and how I want people to sit in the middle because it adds more genuine game discussion that's useful as feedback to game developers. But yeah, I'm not gonna make a video like this again, I promise. This is just like I reached my tipping point. Like, being in the gaming industry, being surrounded by the gaming discourse, and seeing the way that good games and bad games are treated just depending on who promotes them is so aggravating. It's just, I had to get this off my chest, because it's like when you're arguing with someone about this, or when you want to talk with someone about this, it's like you're talking to a brick wall. And at least if I'm making a video about it, I can at least get someone maybe to watch it and understand what I'm talking about, or someone maybe will comment and give their like opinion, and it'll have some level of nuance to it, which I really do appreciate. That's why I always say at the end of my videos, like, if you feel differently from how I feel, just comment it in the comments down below and we can have a genuine discussion there. Because that's really what I like about the gaming industry, is people who do have genuine comments and things that they want to talk about, they actually comment. But yeah, I'm done ranting. Let me go hit a workout before I burst a damn blood vessel, because yeah, this actually did piss me off. That's it for me. I'll see you next time.